Hey everybody, my name is Kevin. I figured I would do a few videos because I've just finished building my button box right there and my, as I call it, modular or quick connect shifter for ATS or American Truck Sim. Also could be used for ETS2, and I'm super excited about it. But what I've noticed is that there are a lot of videos about making button boxes, or there are a few about the shifters, but there's a lot of stuff that they might not mention too much, so I figured I'd just add in a few things that I found while doing it. So there's a video online, and I can't remember the guy's name, but I'm going to make sure I link it before, or when I connect this video, or when I upload this video, so that I can make sure that he gets all the attention for what he did. He did a fantastic job of showing how to build these things. And, you know, I'm a model railroader. I've been doing N scale for many years, and I do a lot of the sound units and N, so I'm really used to and competent with wiring and soldering and all that, especially with tiny stuff. But honestly, it's not too difficult. That even without much experience with it, it's not too bad. And, you know, you watch his videos, and he can hear his video, and he can show you exactly how it works, and it's actually really nifty. But I'm going to show a few things that I can't remember seeing in the video. So there are a couple things that he shows that basically is where to drill and all that. So I'll cover that very quickly. That, you know, I think he showed some of it, but glazed over a little bit. But first, it's real simple stuff. Doing these things is not complicated. There are options out there for you to purchase, but you can actually do this on your own. I mean, it's pretty simple. You know, you drill your hole in the middle. That's where your first switch is going to go. A little guy like this right here. And I'll link this other gentleman's video, which has most of these items. And then if you really are interested in some of the other ones that I have, I'll make sure I link those in there too. The other thing, and that's how you do your high-low. And then you have your tactile switch. It's kind of like a mouse button switch, this little guy. That's what you use for your range or for your splitter. Now, I couldn't source these locally, at least with a tall enough button to make it work, because really what it's gonna do, and I'm pretty sure he shows this in the video, but I'll do it again, it's no big deal, is he sets it in here, and this is actually the assembly for your splitter, and as it turns, it pushes, well, I'm off here, as it turns, like as you can see, let's see if I can, you can see the switch in there, and as it turns, like this would be sitting in here, and when it goes in, you can hear it click, so that's engaging that button. But the thing is the ones that I sourced locally were too short, so they couldn't actually click the button. So what I did is I actually found a 3mm, because those ones are 6mm. I found a 3mm, this little guy, and where I put it on here is, it seems kind of crazy, but I set it in here just like this. Let's see if I can really picture. And what's cool is this one you'd have to cut the little tabs in the back, but essentially that same assembly, while sitting right here, let's see if I can get it. When it turns, you'll see that the little switch, and it engages the switch. So, and that's really all you're using to make these work. So it's just another way of doing it. I just couldn't find those other ones locally, but these are the types of switches that you're going to use in these things. They're really simple to put together once you get all the holes drilled. Let me get back to that. It's pretty simple. You've got your hole in the middle right here. Okay. Now, as far as I remember, he just had the other hole drilled down at the bottom, as you can see. Not the screw hole, but the one next to it, way in the deep part, or as you can see, it's in a right here. and that's for the wiring to go through from your high-low and also your splitter. Well, the way that I had to do it, because I had that little switch in the front, see if I can find the spot. Good light on this. You can see that little hole that's right in there. See, it's hard to see, but you can see it, the little hole right there. And that was so that way you could mount that switch in there and then run the wires directly into it. And then you would run them from that little pocket right here and around and down to the back, just like you did that one in the middle. And that's how you're going to run the two switches. But he has his video, he'll explain more of that. I'm not going to get too detailed, but I'm not going to get too in depth. And then this is the other thing. So the first one I did, I made a mistake and I drilled right here, but I drilled straight down. So what I ended up doing was drilling through this screw right here. Of course, trashed my bit, but it worked. So what you end up having to do, best way to do this, see if I can get a good angle on it for you. Right there, you can get that angle drive right into it, and it'll actually open up the hole right here where there used to be a screen. See if I can get a good angle on it. Probably not, where you can't see it. But anyways, there's usually a screen in there you can drill right through. And then I can actually just run my wires down through that. And then another thing I wanted to point out, in his video he was talking about how you can use any type of these shifters, which is correct. He was talking about the 13 speeds having a tab that you cut off, just in case you wanted to see that, visually see it. This is actually the one that they're talking about. So the tabs that you would cut off, I got to be careful with that little ball right there. But these tabs that you'd want to cut off, you would cut off these guys right here, and what those do is those keep it from engaging when your range is low. When you go to high, then it'll actually work. Well, this one is actually an 18-speed shifter, not a 13 like the red ones. So, as you see, this one's red, whereas this one's like a grayish. 15, I believe, is a blue, normally. And so, with an 18, there are no tabs, so this is actually just straight across. So whether you're in high or low, this guy will actually turn, whereas on a 13 it won't let you do it. So if you cut these two tabs off, then it effectively becomes no different than an 18 speed. And then, so some of the things that I did a little bit differently besides when you see this video is he was talking about using an Ethernet cable. And I use a Cat5, which, as far as I remember, is a type of Ethernet. Somehow I got this other wire. I got it from another store, and I don't know what it is, but so I ended up deciding to go with the Cat5e. And I have this guy actually is wired. I don't know if you can see it very well, but I actually have it wired a specific way. As long as you're consistent through it, it'll actually work as like a quick disconnect. I've already verified that it works pretty well, which I was super excited about. But anyways, so that's one way you can do the wiring, is using one of these, and that way you can always disconnect it and then just attach another shift knob if you were to, say, jump into NASCAR or rally racing, or maybe you wanted to do some project cars or something like that. That obviously is not going to use one of these. I also connected this directly to the button box, but I'm actually going to do another video that shows that. Another thing that I did was I had an extension made because I'm using a Thrustmaster, and I really want to use a Thrustmaster. I've been using a G27 actually, and of course it's nice, but with this big shift knob, I could break it pretty easily if I'm not paying attention with the torque on it. So I got one of these made, and what it actually is just a bolt that will screw into this. I believe it's a 1/2 inch by 13, so coarse thread 1/2 inch bolt that's, I think it was 6 or 8 inches long. And I took it to a machine shop and had them cut the top off, and then of course they sanded it down really nice. They did a very beautiful job. but they drilled it and tapped it for an M9 by, I think it's 1.25. I have the tap. They didn't even have the tap at the machine shop. I had to give it to them. But they tapped it out real good, and it works beautifully. So instead of spending the money on shipping and that, you can just do it that way. I bought the bolt for like $3 at Napa, and then I think it was $60 at a machine shop, but I'm sure wherever you guys are at, it's not Alaska, so it's probably going to be cheaper. But that's some basic stuff that I had thought about. I thought I might bring up. If you guys have any other questions, by all means, go ahead and put it in the comments. And I'll try and keep tabs on it so that way I can answer your questions and help you with whatever I can. Like I said, I actually learned this from watching another guy's video, and just kind of went from there and realized just how simple this can be. So you guys have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, by all means, drop me a couple comments and just let me know what's going on. If there's anything you need, see if we can figure it out. Thanks again, and have a good night.